It was a dark and stormy night in Seattle, but the Huskies heated things up inside the Bank of America Arena. A 9-point victory over Pepperdine. Round 2 of the Basketball Travelers Classic tonight. Washington against Nicholls State of Louisiana. And welcome into the V of A along with Coach Bob Weiss. I'm Brian Davis. A lot of questions about Washington's freshman class, particularly the much heralded center Spencer Hawes. Just come back from knee surgery, and he showed Bob just how much game he has.
Yeah, off about 3 practices, and what he showed was all positive.
Well, Hawes with team high 7 assists last night. Show me a big man who can pass the basketball that well.
Oh, what a luxury it is to have a big man that can do that. And he was the only guy that really had a lot more assists than turnovers, 7 and 2. Pondexter was the only one else that was in the positive mode. Everybody else had more turnovers, but he made great passes. Here you'll see him not find the obvious pass. He finds a guy that's the farthest away from the hoop. So really has a great grasp of the game.
Now, his former AAU teammate John Brockman, named team captain, showed great leadership, did he not, on the floor? 25 points, a career high, to go along with 12 rebounds.
And he's the type of player, he doesn't have to get 25 every night to be a leader. He will be a leader just by example and how hard he works.
Brockman told us after the game last night he felt like he had to answer the bell. The Huskies right back at it. Tip-off is next. College basketball on FSN. College basketball on FSN brought to you by Banner Bank. Better ideas, better banking. Ahead of tip-off at the Bank of America Arena, Washington and a very short-handed Nicholls State side that traveled only 8 players to Seattle. A note of caution for Washington. Last night they turned the ball over 24 times. Can't continue to do that and expect to win. But this young Huskies team was fire-tested last night, Bob, because Pepperdine pressed them to death, and they succeeded in breaking that time after time.
They had to learn to adjust. Here you'll see them not adjusting. This is early in the game. One of their turnovers, you know, they got better at it as it went along. Got rid of the ball before the pressure. And that's what they did all night. The important thing was they took it to them out of the press. Now, what's going to be fun tonight is this is a completely different game. You're going to have a team that probably, if they play like they did the first game here, they're going to play a zone, and it's going to be completely different.
And the cheer you hear here at the Bank of America Arena is for Spencer Hawes, the 7-foot freshman out of Seattle Prep High School, who is making his first collegiate start tonight. He came off the bench last night. Again, as Bob mentioned, he is less than a week back from being green-lighted. Had minor knee surgery just before camp began. Hawes, though, last night with a great performance for his coach Lorenzo Romar, who tonight celebrates his 48th birthday as he continues in his quest to take the Dogs to a 4th consecutive NCAA tournament. For the Colonels of Nicholls State out of Thibodaux, Louisiana, they're about 50 miles south and west of New Orleans. A couple of Australians in the lineup. Again, injuries, eligibility issues have forced Coach J.P. Piper to bring only 8 players to Seattle, and he is in a stretch now, Bob, in which he is playing 4 games in 4 nights. They started on Saturday at Mississippi State, traveled 3,000 miles in a 22-hour day to get here at 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Played last night, played Northern Iowa to a 5-point game. They'll play here tonight, and then they'll wrap up this tournament tomorrow before they go back home to, guess what, they get to play at LSU. Welcome back.
Well, their travel schedule read like something out of a Globetrotters itinerary. Finish a game. They moved the game up so they could finish the game early, get on a bus, go to a puddle jumper, fly to another airport, get on there, fly in here. They were up for I don't know how many hours, and it wasn't first class, I'm sure.
Nicholls State now kind of getting their legs underneath them, getting used to the time change, but a cautionary note. They played last night against Northern Iowa, again, hung in there right to the very end, lost by 5. The Washington beat Pepperdine by 8 points, and then Northern Iowa turned around and blew the Waves out of the building tonight. Northern Iowa against Washington tomorrow night. Again, you'll see on FSN. Hawes has his pocket picked by Justin Payne, the sophomore guard from Thibodaux, Louisiana.
And they come out in a man-to-man, but but they did double team Hawes right on the first pass, so they're going to go in. They're not going to let him post up.
There's Payne, who shoots an air ball, and last night, this is a team that really likes to use the back cuts, but if they can't, they'll go to the three ball. And last night, it was raining threes inside the B of A as the Huskies lost that 5-point game to Northern Iowa.
Yeah, both teams were throwing them up last night.
Hawes puts it on the floor against one of those Australians. Mitch Boyce spins and scores. Nice move by the freshman Hawes.
And he showed them what's going to happen if they don't double team him.
12 points, 7 assists, 4 blocks last night for Spencer Hawes. Aaron Scott out of Houma, Louisiana, as they work it around the top. Brockman out on Ryan Bathy from Melbourne, Australia. Hawes and Brockman team on the rebound, and here comes Justin Denton, the sophomore out of Carbondale, Illinois, in transition. Ryan Appleby kept off the score sheet last night. The only Husky so committed, but nice feed there, and a little bit of range for the 7-footer.
And then Appleby wants to penetrate more. He took it to the hoop, drew somebody, got Hawes the open jumper. Hawes showed his versatility.
Spencer Hawes is 2 for 2. He's got all 4 of the Huskies' points. Here was his opening salvo.
That's the one where they didn't double team him. He's able to get it in there. And that's his jump shot. He shows versatility.
Denton called for the foul here in the opening 90 seconds. Keep an eye on that situation. He's outside working on Adonis Gray, the junior guard out of Opelousas, Louisiana. Inside to Scott, the feed. And they score in the paint off that back cut.
Nice execution.
Quincy Pondexter.
Now they're into the zone.
Brockman has a little trouble, and again, good tight defense by Nicholls. State taken away by Gray, who last night had 20 points and 9 rebounds against Northern Iowa.
Hawes already has as many turnovers as he had all night last time.
Pondexter with the floor burn.
He'll get a lot of those.
Fans appreciate the effort. Nicholls State retains possession with 21 seconds to shoot. Tight man-to-man defense. Pondexter can work his man close, shorter. Denton has to stay off a little bit. Hawes all the way outside. Good read by Denton, but Gray backs him down into the painted area, and we got a tie ball game.
It's hard to get this group out of their set. They love to execute. You can pressure them all you want, but they are going to execute.
Justin Denton, 4-3 last night, 13 points. 3 of his 4 field goals were beyond the arc against Pepperdine.
And shots like that really take the confidence out of the zone.
Appleby working to pick Payne's pocket. Feed inside to the post, and Ryan Bathy not able to handle the basketball.
Well, they had their center 20 feet trying to make that entry pass. A little off the mark.
A real Australian connection, which will explain as we go along. Denton is left a little bit of room, and he's a little long with the three-pointer. Gives Nicholls State, the Colonels, a chance in transition. But once again, the Australians misfire. Bathy looking for Adonis Gray inside, and another turnover just like that Washington ball.
We dodged a bullet there. They had a wide open layup, just mishandled it.
J.P. Piper came to Nicholls State as an assistant coach. This is his 3rd season as the head coach. Earned his stripes in the high school ranks in Baton Rouge. Brockman to Appleby, left alone for 3. Appleby shut out last night, but that's his trademark, the 3 ball. Huskies are 2 for 2 beyond the arc. Check that 2 for 3 and suddenly have a 6-point lead.
Well, Appleby won't be blank tonight.
Probably felt a little lonely down there. Looking at that goose egg on the score sheet. Gray mishandles the driving layup attempt. Denton looking inside, thought Pondexter would cut low. Pass is knocked out of bounds as he goes the other side of the rack to Hawes and throws it out of bounds.
We'll take a look at this Appleby bucket. Tough to tee from that angle, but what happened there, that was a set play. They throw it in, and Appleby actually got a back pick to get him open, and Hawes knew it was coming, could make the pass.
Appleby takes a seat. Last year, 85% of his field goal attempts were 3-pointers. He takes a seat. Hans Gasser and the freshman Phil Nelson, all-time leading scorer at McNary High School in Kaiser, Oregon, on the floor. Nicholls State has its only 3 subs now in the basketball game, including Eddie Crockett with the ball in his hand. What's he doing here? He's from Passaic, New Jersey.
He must have got lost.
And he's called for a clear out off the ball. And so another turnover for Nicholls State. Washington with an early lead is 6, 4.5 minutes in at the B of A. I mentioned that Thibodaux, Louisiana is about 50 miles southwest of New Orleans. Actually was spared a lot of the damage that befell the Crescent City when Hurricanes Katrina and Rita hit a couple of years ago. But there are some fun facts about Nicholls State University, which actually no longer, Bob, has a mascot. They're called the Colonels, but they don't have a graphic mascot. What up with that?
They said they didn't want it to be misconstrued racially, so they pulled it. But it was a colonel in the Southern Army in the Civil War, or as my mother-in-law from Memphis refers to it, the Northern War or Northern Aggression.
And there you go. And I guess yeah, that would probably be ripe for some complaint. Aaron Scott off the turnover converts on the coast to coast for the Colonels, and they are back within 4 points. Adrian Oliver is onto the floor now. Nelson from 3 is a little bit long. He was the one freshman who struggled a bit last night. Look at the bullet pass inside as Detman finds Gasser. Gasser scores, and he'll go to the line.
UW definitely has the size this year, so against this team, I'm sorry, they have size. They're hitting the boards not with their size, with their smallest point guard, but he comes up with a rebound. When you're blocking those big guys off, guards can slash in there and get those. It makes a nice pass.
It's Gasser last night with a half a dozen points, 4 of those on charity. He converts the 3-point play, and Washington has a 7-point lead. It's the largest of the night. Nicholls State beaten 90-55 at Mississippi State on Saturday before the 5-point loss here last night to Northern Iowa. Payne puts it on the floor. Off the ball, Spencer Haas reached in. Check that. Harvey Perry, the redshirt freshman, was whistled for the infraction. Perry, the redshirt freshman out of North Las Vegas, Nevada. Second team foul, 2 aside now. Perry leaves Gil Verner a little bit of room, and Verner shoots the Colonel's second air ball beyond the arc. Good movement inside. Haas is bumped by Ryan Bathy, the 6'6" Australian from Melbourne. J.P. Piper likes to bring in guys from Australia. His pipeline started when, as the principal of the Duncan School, where he was the basketball coach in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, he had an exchange student from Australia. They established a relationship. That guy happens to be in the basketball business, and there you go.
They end up with a lot of them, and I think you told me that the only thing that he didn't like, he thought they're having trouble adjusting to the physicality of the American game, and they'll get that tonight with Brockman.
These guys are well schooled, though, in the techniques. Pondexter showing some technique beyond the arc. Washington 3 of 6 from 3. And have pushed the lead now into double digits as Pondexter has checked in again after a 21-point night, his first points of the night.
This team, Nicholls State, really likes to execute, but this tough man-to-man pressure is really going to get to them as the night wears on, because, you know, with 8 guys, as hard as Washington plays, could really wear them down.
And Adonis Gray along the baseline drives a little bit too aggressively and is called for the offensive foul. 4th team foul. You get too many guys into foul trouble again in a stretch where this is number 3 of 4 games in 4 nights. That's going to come back and bite you.
Yeah, that'll get them. And Washington is so good at stepping up, taking those charges, rotating on defense. Is something that Coach Romar works hard on.
Pondexter against the 2-3 zone. Spots up from the free throw line and just misses. Hans Gasser on the rebound is called for. Oh no, they called it on Gray. A little confusion amongst the officials.
I think they're going to change it back here.
Okay, here we go.
It's number 2.
Okay, Oliver.
He came in over the back.
Ryan Baffey had 15 points in the season opener at Nicholls State. The forwards did the damage in that ball game. The guards did much of it last night. Baffey left a little bit of room and just a little bit of long. First three-point attempt, though, that at least found iron for Nicholls State. Nelson is long. Gray's rebound for Nicholls State, and now the pressure comes. Washington showing a little bit for the first time tonight. Had a pressure fest in here last night.
Both teams. But Phil Nelson missed another three. He looks a little tentative out there. He's just got to hit that first one, and he's a good shooter.
Eddie Crockett, the 5'11 freshman, real dynamo in the Nate Robinson mold, but aggressive again on the drive to the basket. He's called for the charge, and that's his second personal foul.
He's going to have to be careful. These UW players will step into you, and they'll take the charge.
Washington has been playing a little bit of three ball tonight. 7 of the Huskies' 11 field goal attempts have been making 8 out of 12. Have been beyond the arc, and they've hit 4 of those. And they are starting to show signs of running away, and Crockett, with a couple of fouls, now adds a turnover to that as he carries the basketball, crossing into the forecourt.
Here we see Perry taking his last jump shot. Nice setup by Oliver. He gave him the ball. He waited until he was right in position to shoot it. A lot of people make the mistake of just giving it to you when you're open, but there's a time when a shooter should have the ball. He did a nice job there, hesitating, waiting till his feet were set. Makes it a much easier shot.
Bullet pass into the post. Brockman has it knocked away by Baffey. John Brockman, the sophomore out of Snohomish, Washington. 6'7", 260 pounds. Again, 11 of 16 from the floor last night. A career high 25 points, but off the inbound. Look, Pondexter, take it away and score.
He's going to keep coming at you. He doesn't give up. Bobbled the ball, got it back.
Weak pass inside, taken away by Oliver, looking for his former Central Valley playmate Pondexter for the jam.
That's great defense. Hard overplay. Good weak side. Come up with a steal.
7 Colonel's turnovers, fueling
Make it
this
8.
13-point run.
John Brockman just drew a charge on a cut. Watch this previous steal here. Hopefully we'll be able to see the weak side. Watch the pressure they're able to put. Pause that, please, if you can. The reason they can do that is because the weak side is in here. So now they can overplay these kinds of passes because they can trust the back line. And there he goes to take advantage of the hard work they put out.
How about the heads up? Oliver keeping his head up down the floor. That's one of the basics that they teach young basketball players. Keep your head up as you run down the floor, because you might find somebody on the run out that you can connect with and get yourself an assist. Washington rolling. Richie Pondexter, 7 points. Washington with 10 points off of 8 Nicholls State turnovers.
You know, I was just commenting on how well we did on turnovers since the last time out. We had 3, and during this big run to take it from 4 to 10 to 6 to 23, no turnovers.
One there.
And John came out and stepped on my stat.
Oh, well. I guess you just have to talk faster, Bob.
You know, I think so.
Look at Brockman. Can't hang on to it, and Adonis Gray gets the shooter's roll as he kind of chucks it back up to the rim and breaks Washington's scoring run. Look at the difference in three-point shooting last night to this night.
No, we already got the same amount of shots made and about 9 less.
Scott intercepted the alley-oop pass into the post from Nelson to Brockman, and at the other end, Nicholls State misfires. 4 of 11 now. The Colonels. Nelson with another 3.
There we go.
He's going to hit one, and
there we
bingo.
go. That's the first of many.
21 points a game last year at McNary High School. Their all-time leading scorer. Appleby pushed off. Oh, no.
Oh, he got the steal and then got fouled.
Justin Payne with his first personal. Let's take a look at Phil Nelson's handiwork at the other end.
That's a nice pass by Pondexter. He looks him off until the right moment. You know, that just shows knowledge of the game and feel for the game. Again, doesn't just throw the ball to him. He actually looks the defense to the left to open him up even more. And Phil knew what to do with it.
Pondexter takes a seat. 7 points in his first assist of the night. Ryan Appleby at the free throw line as Nicholls State has now committed 7 fouls, and the Huskies are shooting 1 and 1.
Well, when Appleby shoots, they might as well just give him 2.
You know, this is a guy that last year we talked about all the three-pointers he took, but he's also an 80% free throw shooter. So go ahead and drive, because if you get the chance to put you on the line anyway, you can get your points that way as well. Appleby scoreless last night. 5 points here the first 10 minutes of this ball game.
Yeah, this is. I'm sure he's happy to get in the flow. But you know what? He did not have a bad game last night. He had no points, but he still played a very good basketball game.
When everybody else is firing and everybody else who played for Romar last night did score, I think you've used the phrase, Bob, let it come to you within the framework of the offense. Steal for Denton. 10th turnover by Nicholls State. Yeah,
Ryan did a good job of doing that.
Appleby left alone on the weak side is a little bit short. Bathy's rebound. Ryan Bathy has 2 of Nicholls State's 5. Washington an 8-5 advantage off the glass and 5 second chance points.
A lot of pressure again.
Denton must look at a lot of film, because he saw that pass coming. It's all like a defensive back reading the receiver.
One of the things they worked on in shoot-around this morning was overplaying that system that they like to run. Overplaying the passes, pushing them out, anything to knock the timing off. And the only thing that's open when you overplay it is the back doors, and they got the back doors covered with the weak side. Great job of defense.
Gray commits his second personal foul, sending Justin Denton into the free throw line. Denton last season an 81% free throw average as he earned all Pac-10 freshman honors along with John Brockman, who, by the way, is on the long list for the Wooden Award, for which his teammate Brandon Roy was a finalist last year.
Well deserved, too. He's playing great.
A dogfight in the wooden vote. Reddick, Morris, and Roy. At the end of that, Appleby gets a little bit aggressive with Justin Payne, who had 5 assists to lead the Colonels last night, but he was 2 of 7 from the floor. Nicholls State 4 of 11. Washington 10 of 17 shooting in the early going.
They're shooting the ball very well. Last night everything was in the paint. Most of the scores were in the paint. Tonight they're shooting the ball well from the outside too.
Giving Nicholls State no room to set up their offense at all. Again, they like the back cut. Driving in and shooting.
They completely took them out of their offense that time. They had to they ended up going to a drawn kick.
At the other end, Aaron Scott commits a personal foul. Oh no, check that.
No, he demonstrated that they can draw fouls too.
Appleby called.
Stepped in and took the charge on Appleby.
Reddick wound up winning the Wooden Award last year. Morrison second, Roy third. Appleby got a piece, but Payne was able to bring that down. Now he drives underneath. Can't get the pass into the corner, and here comes Brockman to Denton to Haas to the front. Oh no, they're going to call him for a charge. Great effort to get his feet set.
You know, again, here we are. We're looking at the steal. And this is one you kind of blame the point guard for. You're giving it to a big man as he's running down. He's got to look at you. You have to be his eyes. You don't give him that ball unless he's got a green light to go all the way in.
And we're going the other way. We're trading charges now as Baffy knocks Brockman behind over T-Kettle. Take a look at it.
Here's Brockman stepping in. Bang.
Right into
you
your
drive that hoop around these guys, you better be under control.
There's that 5-6 offensive fouls here.
At least.
Nicholls State sets up in that 2-3 zone.
Nice pass.
Oliver gets everything but the finish. See 9 fouls against Nicholls State. They only have 40 to give. Denman from 3. Wow.
He's showing a little bit of confidence in that shot tonight.
Washington has outscored Nicholls State 23-2 since this game was 30 seconds old.
Got a 5-second count.
Closely guarded, so good defense as well as tenacious offense. Justin
Here's Denman taking it like he knows he's going to make it.
After the game, FSN Live is where you want to stay as we break down the action from this game. Huskies and Colonels tonight at 10 Seahawks Central with Angie Mentink and Warren Moon. FSN Live after the game tonight at 10 right here on FSN. Brian Davis and Bob Weiss at the Bank of America Arena. Spencer Haas hit a couple early. He's been held off the board since, but his teammates have gotten into the action big time. Hitting tonight 6 of 11 beyond the arc to roll away from the Colonels of Nicholls State.
They're getting good shots. They're hitting them. Got 3 seconds there. One of their another turnover for them. But so far tonight, their defense has been outstanding. They've forced 14 turnovers. You know, some nights you just see people throwing the ball away. Tonight they forced most of these. I think there's only one I remember where they should have had a score on a break where they didn't throw it well. But the man-to-man pressure, the overplay is really driving them nuts.
Scott stepped on the line. 15 turnovers now for Nicholls State. Washington with 17 points off of the first 14 and a chance to expand that here. Oliver trying to touch pass inside to Haas. Nicholls State has been packing the paint defensively.
And they're paying for it because so far UW is hitting the 3 with consistency.
Nicholls State is not 0 for 5 beyond the arc, 4 of 13 overall. Washington, meantime, has hit 58% of its shots. Come on, that's just sick now. 7 out of 12 from 3. Denman with another. He's got 11 points. 3 of 4 for 3. And this is getting not even funny now.
He's having, well, not if you're wearing the Reds. They don't even want to go into that hoop anymore. They take one dribble and pull it up.
JD has scored 8 straight for the Huskies. Hard to pack the paint when you got so much beef in there with Brockman and Haas. Oliver steps inside the arc. Rebound to Perry, and I think those guys knocked heads underneath the basket. That both of them looked like they took a little shot there.
Yeah, they're.
Payne is the one who is called for inflicting the pain on Perry.
That's where the foul was. And it didn't look. I guess the heads didn't hit. They both got an elbow or a hand to the face.
Aaron Scott was also in there, and I think Scott's hand came out. That's where Perry got whacked a little bit. You take a look at that number there, and Washington is threatened to run away and hide here with 6 minutes remaining in the first half.
Yeah, Colonel's been on 8 for a long time.
Pondexter back onto the floor. Brandon Burmeister also gets a warm round of applause. The senior role player from Mercer Island High School. And off the rebound, we're going the other way. Pondexter got a little too physical with Mitch Boyce.
Went over the back.
And now 1-1 for Nicholls State, which last night did not take very many free throws and did not shoot them particularly well either. 4 of 9 on charity.
No, this is a last night was a three-point shooting game, so there was very little penetration, and as a result, you're not going to shoot many free throws. Tonight they're getting a lot of pressure. They have to drive to the basket if they expect to get open.
13-5 rebounding advantage for Washington at Mississippi State on Saturday. They were out rebounded 44-19, and 11 of their 19 were off the offensive glass. They just got crushed.
Yeah, they've got to change that. And they're out muscled here again tonight.
Last night they had 14 offensive rebounds, but lost that battle with Northern Iowa by 9. Finally, some punctuation in the Washington run, and here's Scott on the run out. Perry tries for the block, but can't. Good strong finish in heavy traffic for Scott.
About when you're shooting a lot of threes or a lot of long rebounds, so it does open it up for offensive rebounding.
Dentman, 4 for 5 beyond the arc.
They better cover that at halftime.
Dentman has him
hot.
You think? 11 straight now for Washington. Unselfishly giving it up, even though he's got the hot hand. Pondexter's pretty good too now. 4 of 5, 2 of 2 beyond the arc. 10 points. Double digits scoring for Quincy Pondexter his first 2 games as a collegiate.
Yeah, he's playing great basketball. Great confidence. Just he's pulling the trigger without even thinking.
Aaron Scott at the other end is starting to heat up. He's got 10 points now for the Colonels on 4 of 7 shooting. Burmeister just a little bit long and Payne with the rebound. Scott.
Nice rotation by Quincy. Then he still hustles out to get to the jump shooter. He stopped the penetration, then covered a three-point shot in the corner.
Reggie Shanks not able to finish, and Perry shoots the air ball, and Shanks from Alief Elsick High School. Does that sound familiar?
It sure does. Richard Lewis might know that.
Shanks with the rebound. Burner looking for a little bit of room and off the ball. Burmeister commits the foul. Time taken. Nicholls State will go to the free throw line, but they would need a whole lot of free throws to make up this margin.
All right. Yeah, because what I want to talk about is watch Gasser. He's pointing to the point guard. Throw it over here. I'll pick his man. He picks the rotator. He's the one that got that three-point shot open. He should get an assist. Yeah, that'd be good. Right. He's pointing, and then I'll point it out. Yeah. Right. That'd be good. Yep.
There you go.
Got it. Oh, I left another one. Got it. Okay. Is this a new one?
Yes. Going to get rid of these?
Yeah. They've only got Oliver with 1 turnover. I know he's got at least 2.
Home cooking on the stat team. Pondexter with 10 points. Washington 9 of 16, 9 of their 14 three-pointers from beyond the arc. Good rotation here.
Watch this play here. See Gasser, he's pointing to the point guard. Look, throw it to the corner. I'm going to pick his man. A lot of people don't pick against zones, but right here, bam, he picks the rotator. He is the one that got that three-point shot open. Nice play.
11 assists on the 14 field goals. Denton is sitting on a career high now for three-pointers. 3 was his most made in the game last season as a freshman. He's 4 of 5 tonight.
And then he only has 5 field goal attempts. So all 5 of them were from behind the line.
You know, Carbondale's not a very big town. Sometimes you just have to go downtown.
Good pressure by their zone.
Burmeister. Artem Wallace with the offensive rebound. Thought he got fouled. Gets the putback. Look who is sealing off on the other side is Pondexter. Pondexter covering Scott closely at the other end. Take a look at Artem Wallace's handiwork underneath.
Nice rebound. Still looks like he got hit on it.
But he did.
But he gets an extra rebound on a stat, and he still scores. So what's the harm?
Little double dip for the sophomore out of Toledo, Washington. Scott makes the first. He'll get another. Washington is shooting the super bonus. 2 free throws for every common foul, and the next foul they commit will put the Colonels in the same situation.
Shaq is so glad they don't have that one-on-one rule in the NBA.
Scott has 12 points now on 4 of 7 shooting. He had 11 last night, 16 at Mississippi State, plus 7 rebounds. Appleby looking inside for Gasser. Perhaps Pondexter in the deep post, stolen away, and Payne just stops and pops, and the shot will not drop for him. They're now 0 for 9 from beyond the arc.
We talked about them liking to execute. I think they said, you know what, shots are so hard to come by. I'm going to take it whenever I can get one.
Well, that's the thing. If your options are the back cut and the three-point shot, and both of those have been taken away from you, not from Washington on the other hand. Appleby with another triple. 10 out of 17 for the Huskies. Appleby with 8 points. Payne skying. Gasser.
There was a back cut, but nowhere to go.
Gasser fronted him just enough to disrupt the shot, and here comes Washington off of its 17th rebound of the night. Wallace, nice. I think what the coaching staff wants from Artem Wallace, just a little more consistency.
Well, you know, he's going to come out and give you what he's got every night. You know, how productive he is the question, but he is going to play hard. Look at that, another great rotation.
Shot won't drop for
defense
Gray.
there. Now he's running the floor hard. He's going to give it to you every night.
Burmeister spotting and scoring.
Doing a Detman impersonation.
You know, we need to get a long distance company as a sponsor on this broadcast. Washington is 11 of 19 now.
They're dialing 1 before every shot.
And you know what? 12 assists on 17 made field goals. Burmeister's first points of the night. And Washington with an unbelievable lead. I can't subtract margins that wide. 34, right? Shanks looking inside for Mitch Boyce, is fouled as he turns to the bucket.
He had nowhere to go. Kind of bailed him out on that one.
Oliver picks up his second personal foul. He Was disqualified last night on contact. Boyce, also a freshman from Townsville, Australia.
Trouble I see with this Washington team is when you get a lead like this, he doesn't have any bad players to put in.
That's the thing. You tend to overlook sometimes those guys who play roles, but every guy on this roster can do something to you. And Oliver just a little bit late and good read for the steal and the finish to Aaron Scott, who has 14 of Nicholls State's 22 points.
Oliver is really a talented player, but he has just got to learn. You know, it's almost like he doesn't respect the defense enough. And when you come up a level, you're coming out of high school, you just don't realize how good these people are. And he's just getting himself into a little too much trouble with the ball. He's got the skills. I think he's got the feel to get over this. But it's something, it's an adjustment he's going to have to make pretty soon.
You wind up playing out of control, don't you?
Well, yes. And it's not so much out of control where he's just going, you know, he just gets himself into positions where he shouldn't be getting himself, and where it's too late to get out of a double team, and they're getting hands on the ball.
Splits the diff. And Washington has more than doubled Nicholls State with a 31-point lead. Again, Nicholls State playing with only 8 players because of illness and academic ineligibility issues. Here's Boyce. Long shot won't go, and Oliver saves it. Little scramble. Wallace comes away, and Huskies will play for, well, we think they'll play for one last shot, but these guys you don't know, do you?
Yeah, they will. Nice pass.
Burmeister.
Do the easy thing.
With the exclamation point, Washington with 12 3-point baskets. Can you believe John Brockman is the only Husky who has not scored? Bob, you said it going into the broadcast tonight. You said they're not going to need 25 out of him every night.
Well, and he is not the kind of guy that creates his own shot. So he's what you call an opportunity scorer. When he's playing in the right type of situation, he is going to score. Last night was an open game. They were putting a lot of pressure and opened up the paint. Players give them the shot.
Second round of the Basketball Travelers Classic at the Bank of America Arena. Huskies outshot the Colonels 61% to 28% in the first half. A runaway lead for Washington at the break. But you know, sometimes, Bob, high-octane offense is set up by high-octane defense.
Well, that's definitely the case tonight. Their defense has been tenacious both nights. They played great defense. Here you'll see overplays, and Nicholls State just couldn't handle it. A lot of pressure. These are aggressive steals. Now here you see a drive, a rotation, and a collapse. That was 3 people working on that play right there together. And whenever you see defense like that, it's not just one guy. It's 5 people all knowing what they're doing. And those 5 people, it's the 2 guys in the back of all that that allows all that pressure to be put on the offense. And it comes up with steals.
5 steals for Washington, 15 points off of 17 Nicholls State turnovers. Let's talk about how the Huskies have overplayed the passing lanes and have just destroyed Nicholls State's offense.
And that's one of the things that Coach Romar talked about in the pregame walk-around this afternoon. He wanted to take them out. They do execute well. You haven't seen it tonight because Washington won't let them.
Another big part of this story is 3-ball. The Huskies are on fire beyond the arc. We'll explore that as we continue at halftime. Huskies with a tremendous lead of 34 points over the Colonels of Nicholls State, Louisiana. Things to track in the second half of the B of A. Washington's single game record for 3-pointers made is 16. They had 12 in the first half against Nicholls State. Quincy Pondexter, 21 points last night. He is in double digits through one half here tonight.
Okay, here's some highlights. And this is why Romar likes Hans Gasser. He set a pick there, gets an assist there. Quincy Pondexter shooting that ball well. Here, Ryan Appleby hits one. And there's Gasser again. 2, Ryan Appleby. Bang. You look at Gasser's stats. He got 3 points in 9 minutes, but he was much more valuable than that.
And Appleby tonight with 8 points after being the only Husky who didn't score last night. Justin Dentman with those 4 3-pointers in the first half. Take a look at the numbers, and the score would suggest what you're seeing behind the numbers here. 3-point shooting, a huge disparity. Nicholls State last night made 32 attempts, made 13, and have been shut out beyond the arc tonight.
That's because of all that pressure you're seeing. They're not getting the open looks.
Dentman again overplaying the passing lane, knocking the ball out of bounds. Justin Dentman from Carbondale, Illinois, but finished up at the Winchendon Academy in the Northeast, which is where Isaiah Thomas will go from Curtis High School. He is high on the Huskies' wish list for next season, but academics have forced him out of his hometown in Tacoma, and he will finish up in Connecticut. Pondexter with a nice hustle play. And Justin Payne is called for another personal foul. That is his 3rd.
Yeah, they don't want to get anybody in foul trouble. They got enough trouble right now. They only got they can only put 2 bridge tables together. They got 8 players, so they don't want anybody sitting out.
Oh, come on now, don't be talking. You want to talk pinochle or poker, I'll talk with you, but let's not be talking bridge over here, would you please? Actually, I played a lot of pinochle in the college dorm back in the day. Lost a lot of money at the poker table, which is why I don't play that.
Been there, done that.
Aaron Scott 0 for 10 now. The Colonels from 3-point. Good ball movement. Hawes trying to find Brockman.
Trying to get him off the snide. He had Appleby.
I saw Brockman, looked at Spencer's a little higher next time.
Spencer says, no, I've seen you jump.
Nice. Kathy shows and then works it around, gets it back with Brockman way out high on him, and that's 0 for 11 now.
Well, they're just taking him so far out of their offense. I mean, they do not want to take a 3-pointer on the dribble with a hand up, but that's all they can get.
Baffey hasn't scored. He's 0 for 3. All 3 of his shots. Now this is one of your forwards, 6'6". All 3 of his shots have been beyond the arc. And Hawes can't get the finish. Off the rebound. Nice play for Aaron Scott. Nicholls State. Good feed too.
That's the kind of shot. He can get that penetration because when Appleby squares up, all he has to do is look at the rim and guys are running at him. It opens up the driving lanes.
And now Brockman is on the score sheet.
Overplay. Oh, Demon actually fell asleep a little bit there. He was supposed to be over where he could steal that ball. Here's Nicholls State finally getting a miss, showing how to deliver on the break.
Good find for Payne, the point guard, but again he's playing with 3 fouls, and Appleby knocks down another triple. He's in double digits, 3 of 4 beyond the arc, 11 total points. Washington 3 trays away from tying its all-time single game record. Brockman makes the attempt, and timeout is taken by J.P. Piper, the Nicholls State coach.
I'm going to do a Karnak impersonation here and predict that they will break the 3-point record tonight.
It's pretty safe one.
I don't take that many chances.
Minutes in. What a birthday gift for Lorenzo Romar. Earlier today, Northern Iowa blew Pepperdine off the floor here again. Pepperdine played the Huskies tough last night. In Milwaukee, Marquette just surviving Idaho State in their tournament at the Bradley Center. Vermont, how about it? Aren't they an ECAC school? Goodness, knocking off Boston College of the Big East. Sonics tonight, as you saw on FSN, winning at New Jersey by 6 on nice back cut and a good finish as Gray beats Pondexter to the rack.
And there was no weak side on that play because all 5 players were on the left side of the floor.
Brockman stops and pops, and it's long, and Appleby says not so fast.
I thought he was going to pull up.
And Dentman,
and I guess he should have.
Yeah, because he is charged is Dentman with the offensive foul as Payne playing with 3 himself, doing a nice job to get back and set before Dentman make the turn.
Yeah, he can't take any chances. He's got to be careful.
They have Australians on this team from Nicholls State, but they also have some local guys. Payne from Thibodaux, Gray is from Opelousas, Gil Verner we've seen from Napoleonville, all within the region around Thibodaux, a little bit southwest of New Orleans. Scott from Homa, also in the region, misses there. He is 6 of 11, but he leads them with 16 points. Dentman is show and go, and inside Brockman is fouled from behind by Aaron Scott.
That's a nice pass there.
Nicholls State is playing its first 9 games on the road. You want to take a look at what J.P. Piper has set up for them. Brockman, no love from the iron. They'll finish up here. Got beat by 35 at Mississippi State. They'll play at LSU when they get back home, and then Texas next week. And Piper's philosophy is very simply this. These guys, they all had dreams of playing bigger Division I basketball. They wanted to go to LSU. They wanted to go to an SEC school, played maybe at Texas. They didn't, so I'm going to give them a chance to go to Baton Rouge and to Austin and to Starkville, Mississippi, and at least play the teams that they wanted to wear the uniform for, and give them a little thrill that way. And the other thing is, you know, you play much tougher basketball in your own conference to Southland if you play competition like that non-conference.
No, that's not a bad approach to it. You know, you get them to travel, you get them to see things, you get them to play against tough competition.
Appleby called for the foul. That's his 3rd. On the open, Brockman comes in and fouls Boyce, who had his hands full with Haas, and then Brockman trying to help him backside, but got body instead of ball. Brockman, that is his first personal 3rd-team foul this half.
It looked like Brockman would beg to differ with you and the referee, but
yeah. Yeah.
He was acting like he got all ball, but it did look like there was contact. I couldn't see it.
And guys like Boyce from Townsville, Australia, were guys who just fell short of making the Australian Institute for Sport, which is their Olympic development track program, out of which, for instance, Lauren Jackson of the Storm came. So all these guys were big dream guys who just missed. Spencer Haas just misses, and he's living his big dream.
Nice play. Great look off there.
Terrific feed inside by Crockett. Again, he's the lone, he's the outcast. Everybody else is from around Thibodaux or from Australia. Had a guy from Passaic, New Jersey get here. Quincy Pondexter now with another 5 of 8 shooting for Pondexter and 12 points. Not giving him many options to distribute.
It looks to me like a little of the pressure has been let off. They don't look as intense on defense. They're still up there, but it doesn't quite have the intensity it did the first half. But by now, Nicholls State has forgotten how to get into their offense. They're having an opportunity to run here. Here you're going to see a little bit of it.
Got to work to get to the line more. They're 10 of 10 there. Now, Crockett looked to pick that ball up, but doesn't get the call. But now, if you're a Washington fan, I guess justice is served as he misses badly. And underneath the scramble, Brockman and Boyce skying to the rack. Brockman will go to the free throw line after a break. 5 minutes into the second half, Huskies have more than doubled Nicholls State. Washington all over Nicholls State like a cheap suit. We invite you to tune in tomorrow for the Husky Hoops preview. The birthday guy, Lorenzo Romar, 48 today. He talks about this season. We look into sharpshooter Ryan Appleby and what he brings to the team, plus the Pac-10 Conference Roundup. The Husky Hoops preview tomorrow at 7 here on FSN. Brockman to the line where he is 1 out of 3. Last night had his best scoring night of his career, and also with 12 rebounds. A little different story for him tonight, although he continues to produce underneath.
Right, he's got the 5 rebounds. He's been doing a great job rotating defensively. He just hasn't had the opportunities he got last night.
Nicholls State has made as many free throws as field goals. 10 of 10 from the line tonight, 10 of 32 overall. It's just that kind of night. Somebody needs to get a stick and subdue that thing.
Yeah, that was going all over the place. Looked like it, you know, it definitely slipped out of his hand. I don't think it was deflected.
Talk about the Sonics finishing up their road trip at 3-2 after 2 narrow losses at Miami and Orlando. They win by 6 tonight at New Jersey.
And that's a tough one to get. The last game of a trip, you're playing probably, well, the next best team. Best team is Miami. But you're playing a strong team. And the last game of a road trip is often the hardest to win.
Nelson looking inside. Aaron Scott reaches in and fouls Brockman again. 3 fouls now on Scott, so they got 2 players with 3. 4th team foul of the half, a non-shooting foul. Nelson gets a chance to handle the basketball. And he'll shoot long.
There he is.
Goodness. Nelson has a couple of 3-pointers.
And I'm impressed with Dentman not taking some threes. He's actually passed a couple up where, you know, you can see, hey, I'm not too concerned with setting my record for threes or getting points. He's just playing the game. Very impressive.
Nelson fouls Brockman. Actually, I thought he had his man fronted and Brockman came to help, but Adonis Gray will go to the free throw line. Gray last night 2 of 7 on Charity. But the Colonels now have more free throws made than field goals. 11 on Charity, 10 in the run of play. Dentman sits, and he's sitting on a career night in terms of 3-pointers made. 4 out of 5, 14 points, which remains the best of the Huskies lot to this point. Washington 14 3-pointers tonight. Gasser inside. Sometimes he gives
with the assist.
Yeah, sometimes he gives and sometimes he gets a chance to finish the play.
Yes, and he's a good outside shooter. That's great to have for a big man. I think Coach Romar's got a lot of tools he can use this year.
Burmeister making it tough, and Gasser with good help, and another missed 3-pointer. And Nelson can't quite handle a hot run out pass from Brockman, who taps his chest and says that one was on me, and he led Nelson a little bit too long and a little bit too hot and high.
Yeah, Nelson agreed with him. Yeah, that was
Cap. Shanks from Rashard Lewis's alma mater, Alief Elsig High School, just outside of Houston, to Gil Verner, who is long with it. Tap back will not fall, and out of the scramble, Burmeister controls. Brockman, big guys can handle the basketball.
There you go. Nice tie.
Great find inside.
2 great passes. Oliver had a shot, passed it up to give it to a guy with a standstill shot. He passed a standstill shot up to give it to a guy with a layup. It was great. Here you're going to see this. Oliver has a shot right here, passes it up because that's a better shot. He passes that one up because that's the best shot.
18 assists, Bob, on 25 made baskets tonight. Burmeister one of two seniors, Gasser being the other. And let's go back to the concept of quote-unquote role players who really do fit a role. Many teams have deep bench guys that the fans chant for playfully at the end of ball games, because if he's in, you know it's a blowout. And they don't have any of those guys on this roster. I mean, that's, man,
no, because everybody
can
can contribute in a tight game.
Nelson a little bit long. Off the scramble, here comes Eddie Crockett inside for Aaron Scott, and the flush. 18 points now for Scott. He's the one guy who's doing anything here tonight for Nicholls State. Another tremendous rotation.
And what you're seeing right now too is you're seeing Coach Romar putting Oliver in there as the only point and giving him that experience, letting him learn, because he knows at some point this year he might need him in that role.
Stays with his man. Burmeister's rebound off the miss by Crockett. Washington with 32 rebounds. Brockman again, now heating up here in the second half.
All of a sudden he's in double figures.
All 10 of his points since intermission. 32 rebounds to 13. The advantage for the Huskies over the Colonels. One and done has been the deal for Nicholls State. Strong drive and finish for Adonis Gray.
And one of the rare times that the weak side didn't rotate in time. Two things happened. He got there quick, and when you get a straight line drive, it's hard for the defense to rotate from the weak side. But the problem was there too. In addition to the quick drive, they were slow getting there.
Brockman is 3 of 5. Check it, 4 of 6. He's got 10 points now. Aaron Scott is 7 of 13 for Nicholls State. The rest of the team 6 of 26, and that is one reason why the Huskies are now ahead by 40 points. And we'll see Joel Smith, we think, back at practice next week. But we talk about the returning letterman who can play roles for this team, and there is the list of, well, they're more than suspects, they're contributors.
They are, and they've played well, very well in both these games.
And even the guys, listen, you know, last year the guy that the fans love to see, and that's the first three-pointer of the night after 12 misses. Baffey finally hits it. There's Smith on the Huskies bench, but fans last year for a couple of years loved to see Zane Potter come off the Washington bench. But the one thing that you need to remember about those guys is what they do for your team in practice and how hard they work to make the main men better and what they contribute that way. What football coaches call the scout team or the service team.
Right, they're invaluable. I can remember several years ago, Scheffler with the Sonics always pushed Sean Kemp in practice. In fact, we had to tone him down a little bit when he set too hard of picks on some of the guards. But I don't know if they've got that problem here.
Now, Romar is not happy, you know, because suddenly Nicholls State is getting something done in transition. They're running and they have scored on their last two possessions. And sometimes as a coach, you need a teaching moment. And Lorenzo has taken time out to deliver some news to his guys.
Yes, and quite graphically. So he's getting on him, but it's very difficult to maintain this focus, especially when you get such a big lead. It's a natural thing to start to let up, and coach wanted to correct that right now, and we'll see what happens.
7 unanswered points, in fact, for Nicholls State, but tomorrow night a much more formidable opponent in northern Iowa, and I think Romar wants to maintain that edge for what should be their first really good test of the season. 8-point victory over Pepperdine last night, but again, a lot of that, the waves made up the margin down the stretch, but a 9-point run now.
And Oliver taking it into traffic again. You know, you only need to draw 2 and then get rid of it. Make the easy play. You don't have to do what we call hit the home run. All you got to do is get the ball out of the double team, let the next guy make the assist.
Adonis Gray is called for his third personal foul. 3 men on the floor for Nicholls State have 3.
Coach Romar still didn't like what he saw after that timeout. He gave him a couple times up and down the court to make some adjustments. They didn't do it, so now he went with 4 subs, and so far they're not doing real well.
Wow. Here we go. Gray again. On the stat sheet, we just showed the made field goals. On the stat sheet, it shows up as FGM, but that's sort of OMG, as in, oh my God, if you're Nicholls State. But again,
and it's still happening.
A 13-point run now as Gray steals and finishes consecutive plays.
We might see another timeout here by Romar. Well, it was an injury, so that Nicholls State takes the timeout.
Remember, it's still a 29-point basketball game, but bad habits breed bad results sometimes.
Yeah, you don't. I've seen this happen so many times when you get a big lead and then it just turns sour at the end because you let up, the other team makes you look bad, and you go in that locker room and not feel as good as you should be feeling. But they've played a tremendous game up to this point. They just got to get it back, and Coach Romar is making that point right now.
Halftime, Washington turned the ball over, what, 8 times? They have 18 turnovers all of a sudden, 24 last night.
Coach Romar told him at that time, hey, it's my birthday. I don't want to be frowning on my birthday. So we'll see how they respond.
48 today for the Husky, who has come home and led this team to 3 consecutive NCAA appearances. Look out.
Unbelievable. What a play. Nice block.
Crockett was off to the races, and he'll go to the free throw line.
You know, what's amazing about it to me is the energy that Nicholls State can come up with after what they've been through with the travel and a tough game like tonight.
By bad and non-shooting situation, possession issue, but an 11-point run now for Nicholls State.
Oh, well, I'm still not worried.
Yeah, they've cut a 40-point Washington lead to 29. Scott puts it on the floor. Appleby comes to help, and here comes the Huskies. Denton
there we go.
To stop that run. Denton 1 point off of his career high with 16 points tonight.
And was that his first field goal attempt inside the line?
Yes, it was.
There we go.
Pondexter bats away the pass.
One.
Burner.
The official really wasn't in any position to be able to see that, but I thought he got Pondexter's left arm.
14 points, though, for the freshman, who is in Romar's starting lineup after a terrific career at San Joaquin Memorial High School in Fresno. In position for the rebound, which is his 4th of the night. Brockman along the baseline. All 12 of his points now in the second half. On 5 of 7 shooting.
It's great that he can hit that 15, 17 footer, because when he goes up against bigger guys, he can take them out there and do that. And then most people his own size, he can punish inside.
Also create some lanes for your offense. You can take.
Oh, sure. If you got to defend him, and it opens that up for guys that can penetrate.
With the ball in the air, the foul called against Nicholls State. Brockman by the numbers tonight after his double-double last night in the season opener. Time taken. Washington reasserting itself with a big lead still over Nicholls State. College basketball on FSN is brought to you by Sterling Savings, the perfect fit bank. Washington by 35, had led by as many as 40 before Nicholls State got on to an 11-point run. Ryan Davis and Bob Weiss at Heck Edmondson Pavilion. Pondexter in double figures scoring. tonight as well after a 21-point debut, and traveled with the basketball.
And he was taken in the wrong direction. He had Appleby open in the corner. One of the rare times that this team is not seeing the easy play and just made it.
20th turnover for Washington, which now matches Nicholls State. And they find Adonis Gray on the backside. He'll go to the free throw line. Going to call that one on Artem Wallace, as two Huskies recovered quickly enough to get to the basket and for Wallace to foul Gray on the breakaway.
Yeah, they let somebody get way behind them. Nobody, a lot of pressure, but nobody was covering deep. My prediction for the three-point record may not come to pass here. How many more do we need? We need 2.
2 to tie.
2 to tie. 3 for the record.
Huskies had a dozen in the first half.
Yeah.
Wallace, Perry, Brockman, Denton, and Appleby on the floor. Brockman travels. 21 turnovers now. With Northern Iowa coming in here.
I may not have been paying attention, but I didn't see that walk. Thought he had pretty good footwork. Officials are usually looking right at that pivot foot, though.
Crockett finds Gray, who cannot finish, gets inside of Brockman, and earns another shot. And a fresh 35-second clock.
These kids still playing hard for Nicholls State.
Gray for 3. 21 points for Gray. He is 8 for 13. Scott is 8 for 16. So that's 16 for 29. The rest of the team combined 3 out of 20 now. Nicholls State playing 8 men tonight. Injuries and academics. Bad combination for a coach. Wallace can't finish. Good effort by Brockman. Off of gold. Nicholls State basketball. Ryan Matthew, 1 of 5 tonight, gives it up. They move it around, and Reggie Shanks, the freshman from Houston, scores.
They're getting penetrations now they were not getting in the first half.
Appleby, a little bit long. Wallace the rebound, and
He muscled that one in. I thought they had a hand on it.
3 of 4, half dozen points for Wallace to go along with 5 rebounds. Good situational contribution. Off the ball, they're going to call that a block. Wallace is called for the block. Thought he had his feet set, but I think he knew it was close. He wasn't set.
Now, and the official was almost, he was almost upset that he called that, because he actually took a 3-point play away from Nicholls State. You saw him go, oh no, out there. But he made the right call.
Mike Greenstein with the ball underneath. Martin Cota was the official on the side. Ken Diddy, the near side of your screen. They are your officiating crew here tonight.
People don't realize how tough a job that is. One of the toughest things in basketball is when you're an assistant coach and they say, okay, you call the game. All of a sudden, it's so much harder to see than when you're sitting in the stands or watching on TV.
Good ball movement. Nelson on the reverse. Artem Wallace found him. Appleby found him.
Great pass by Wallace.
Got a lot of folks leaving the B of A to beat traffic. We'll be here afterward. FSN Live to follow. Here we go.
Appleby sets him up in the post. He reads the weak side. Little finesse play there. Phil Nelson showing he can score inside too.
John Brockman has 9 assists, so he's working on another double-double. Wallace giving him a blow. 5 rebounds, 6 points. 22 assists for the Huskies on 32 made field goals. Washington shooting 55%. Nicholls State 40. And it's back to a 30-point ball game. They like that cut to the elbow, don't they?
Yeah, that's part of their offense. You're supposed to cut up there, get the ball, look to the weak side.
Crockett with another bomb. They missed their first 12, and they're now 3 of 15. So 3 for their last 3, but too little too late. I think the not only is the barn door open, I think the horses crossed the 520 bridge.
Barmeister making it interesting on the, if you're paying attention to the 3 race.
Huskies are 1 3-pointer shy of the all-time single game record. Wallace is going to be called for the foul.
This is the type of situation where the officials are going to give the benefit of the doubt to the team that's down. Oof. On top of that, it was he probably got a little bit of.
So the Huskies over 90 points again, though, with 3 minutes and change remaining in the Basketball Travelers Classic. Washington State suddenly with 21 turnovers, yielding 19 Nicholls State points. That is a huge jump from when it really mattered in the first half. Thursday, it's a full evening of football on FSN, starting with Moon and Mentink inside the Seahawks. Then you switch to the college ranks. Olsen, Dam, and Davis with Huskies All Access, followed by FSN Classics. Cap off the night with FSN Live. Tailgate Thursdays right here on FSN. Don't forget the Apple Cup, 3:45 Saturday. Washington at Washington State. Last man contest, which we'll have here on the network.
Boy, one interesting thing as you look at this stat sheet, the first half 22-56, the second half 39-35 in favor of Nicholls State. Now it's 40-35,
which is
it just shows you how hard it is to maintain. You know, it looks so easy to say you come out and play hard, but you know, it's tough to maintain that when you feel that you've already got it won.
Romar, you know, as a coach, you just gotta keep your foot in the guy's back sometimes. Gray, the trailer, with 23 points now to lead all scorers. In fact, Colonels have 2 guys over 20. Washington, Dentman remains the high man with 16 points. 5 players in double figures. Is one of those players. He's got 14 points now on 5 of 7 shooting, 4 of 6 beyond the arc, and Washington has equaled its single game record of 16 3-point field goals made.
We have Oliver out there again as the point guard.
The record was on 16 of 25 beyond the arc against Cal in March of 2005. Tonight 16 of 29.
Great shooting, great patience.
Wallace has another rebound. Give him a half dozen on the night. Burmeister thought about it. Nelson, good conversation to Oliver, and the rebound. Nelson takes it away. Wallace has a chance. Yeah, he'll go to the free throw line. Will Artem Wallace?
Yeah, that shows you the kind of feel that Phil Nelson has. He's got a great outside shot, but when he's around the hoop, he can make the play. He's going to be a good player. He has to get the confidence that his shot actually has. He's got a great shot. He's just got to know it.
Not as easy as it looks moving the ball that quickly and making those sorts of decisions in heavy traffic down in the low post like that. Brandon Burmeister, by the way, the senior out of Mercer Island High School, sitting on a new career high, 14 points tonight.
He's done a nice job. And to get back to that point you made, it's not that easy to make those passes. It's not. You have to have a knack of being able to read it. Some people can see it, but they'll throw it right through somebody's hand if they don't have the feel for seeing the defense also. There's a lot of guys that can see the offense, but they don't see the defense.
Harvey Perry asking the official Martin Cota, why was that a foul? Perry has 4 and will leave as Appleby comes back in. Huskies, boy, they were just dancing around the century mark last night, finished with 99. Gray's had a terrific night. And give this shorthanded Nicholls State side a little bit of credit. Burmeister looking for the record. By the way, Nicholls State opened their gym. Oh, look at that.
They're supposed to be tired.
Gray opening his wingspan, and a great catch and finish on that one. I'll bet that 27 points a career high for him.
After 20 last night.
Nelson from the corner. Wallace looking to the outside to see if he could pass it out, and then keeps it and finishes it himself. Nicholls State had to replace their basketball floor over the summer. They were a refugee center after the hurricanes that hit the southern United States. They didn't get whacked by Katrina or Rita, but certainly the New Orleans area did, and had so many refugees in their gymnasium that they wound up destroying the floor.
Okay, watch this rebound. This is a drill that the Huskies run. When you catch a rebound, you go pogo right back up, because the defense is not ready for that. If you catch the ball there and ball fake, all of a sudden they swarm you and they can go up and block it. But when you hit and just you act like you're on a pogo stick, you bounce right off the floor and go back up, half the time you're wide open.
Why couldn't Reggie Evans ever learn that?
Reggie wanted to first show everybody he had the ball. He wanted to make sure they got the rebound.
Oh, the dearly departed.
Plus, Reggie didn't jump for rebounds. He just made space and let the ball come to him.
Sonics will be back home on Wednesday night to play Philadelphia. We'll have the broadcast for you beginning with FSN Live at 6:30 from Key Arena. Sonics just finishing a 5-game trip, 5 arenas in 7 nights to the south and east, capped by a 6-point victory at New Jersey tonight that brings them to within a game of 500, and they finish that road trip at 3-2.
And they won the 2 hardest games to win. When you have the 4th game in 5 nights, and then the last game before you come home after 1 more night's rest.
Actually gets them back to 500.
Yeah.
At 4-4. Off the bullet pass, Nelson. Suddenly Phil Nelson has double figures, 4 of 8 scoring. Didn't work for him on the outside, but now they're asking him to work inside, and he's making it happen.
Well, he knows the game, and he had when he sees an opening, he makes the cut.
Ooh. Count the basket. Will that be Wallace's foul? Wallace's 4th. Wallace has a career high 9 points, and Nelson his 10 points, the first double-digit outing of his collegiate career.
And I'm impressed with Wallace's passing. He's made some nice passes. Here it comes.
Burmeister for the record. Got it. 17 3-pointers for Washington. That is a new single-game record. Fitting that Brandon Burmeister made it happen.
He's got about 3 or 4 of them.
Try 5.
Okay, I'll try 5. 3 or 4 or 5.
And a career high 17 points. Artem Wallace is probably feeling like the other guy that on the other side of town who wears 21. Danny Fortson, because Wallace has just fouled out of the game and couldn't believe the call. Take a look at Brandon Burmeister. 17 points.
And he says, but I'm playing so well. Can I play with play with 5? Great game.
Burmeister also, you know, sometimes you look at guys like that and you look how many times they pass the basketball and you think they ought to do it like hockey, where they give the last 2 touches assist, because guys like Burmeister and Gasser often get the next to last touch and don't get credit for their work.
Well, that's very true, but I don't know if that'll ever change, because if you did that, you'd lose all the old records of because now you'd be comparing guys to that 1 assist away, where, you know, it didn't happen in the past.
Washington will go to 2-0 in this young season. Justin Detman had himself quite a night. Burmeister had to get rid of it because otherwise the shot clock would have expired. But yeah, they're going to play 1 more second here. Don't put it in the books yet, but you might as well. Washington twice over the century mark last year. They're there tonight in this rout of Nicholls State, which falls to 0-3. Tomorrow night, the final round of the Basketball Travelers Classic. Nicholls State will play Pepperdine. Washington in a game you'll see here on FSN starting at 7:30. Will take on a potent Northern Iowa team. Burmeister leading the charge. 1 of 5 Huskies in double figures, 17 points. Denton in 16. Pondexter 14. Brockman all 12 in the second half. And Appleby with 11 as Washington wins this one 102-74.